Lawyers of Reddit, what is the dumbest thing your client has done to ruin a case? My mother was in court as a witness in a case of criminal harassment between two of our neighbors. We basically knew that the case was ridiculous and a sham. The accused neighbor was totally innocent and was being falsely accused by the local troublemakers, who kept on provoking him and who then wanted to be able to sue him for easy money. Anyway, by pure coincidence, the defendant was secular Jewish, just like my parents. It's literally just a coincidence. The two troublemaker neighbors, who were also there, were very angry to see my mother in the court. One of them then stood up in the middle of everything and yelled some crap about how my mother is a Jew, and only there because the defendant is a Jew, and Jews apparently always stick to help each other. The judge immediately ripped him to shreds and threw the case out. Ah, the old, I didn't harass that Jew, I'm anti-Semitic. Defense. Legal videographer here. Videotaped a deposition for a man claiming work injuries so severe he could not raise his right hand above his shoulder, and his shoulder was in pain whenever he even tried to raise it above the shoulder. Sued his employer claiming it was a work injury. Then came his very first deposition. Does anybody know the first thing the court reporter asks of the person testifying? The reporter swears them in by saying, "Would you please raise your right hand and repeat after me?" Then administers the oath to tell the truth. Man who claimed not be able to raise his hand above his shoulder, raised his hand way above his shoulder. That hand and arm went up like a rocket. The guy did not even realize what he had done and kept his arm up through the whole oath. Neither plaintiff or defense counsel caught it. The court reporter and I just looked at each other and let the depo play out. I was hired by defense counsel and showed him the first 20 seconds of the video and took home a nice bonus because of it. Case was dropped shortly after that depo. Not an attorney, but one client of ours baffles me to this day. He had multiple cases, including aggravated battery and drug possession. At the insistence of dude's family, we moved heaven and earth getting him a bond so that he could get out of jail and live with said family until the case was over. The whole process took weeks. Less than a day after getting out, he was caught stealing $16 worth of batteries from Target. Bond revoked. To be fair, the line between stupidity and compulsion is blurred with this one. I was on a jury where the defendant showed up in court day one wearing the same exact outfit as the unknown suspect in the video of the crime. It took only a few seconds before the judge immediately called a stoppage. All lawyers went into the back with the judge, and they came out like 7 minutes later as announced the defendant had taken the plea deal. Wild. Oh shit, I forgot. This is Emma crime outfit. Not a lawyer. Heard this story from a guy I used to work with. His brother-in-law got injured at work and was suing for a hefty sum. Case was pretty much open and shut. All the evidence was in the BIL's favor. Until the BIL started talking. They asked him to tell them about the day of the accident. BL started out fine until he gets to the where he approached the piece of equipment that injured him. He tell everyone that there was a note on it stating that it was out of order. BL then says that he discarded the note and started up the piece of malfunctioning equipment as he had a job to get done. That easy win was discarded faster than that out of order sign. Am criminal defense lawyer. Client arrested on DUI. Client lived in small town. He and his wife would drive to the one bar in town, drink, then walk to their houseboat after a night at the bar, 4 mile away. He and wife know everyone in the bar. Another patron they know gets blasted. Bar owner says she can't stay. Client and wife walk her to his car to stay there until ride comes. Client gets her in back seat of the SUV. Client is drunk, drops keys on the way to front seat, opens now unlocked front door, turns on car lights to see. He walked around the front from rear passenger. Cops are waiting to see if people leave bar drunk. Sees lights, says he saw driving. Immediately rolled up arrest client. Client has prior DUI from 12-ish years before. Judge agreed that it wouldn't come in. Jury wouldn't hear it unless he opened the door. Can't win the case unless dude testifies. I prep him, continue to prep him, keep prepping him, but tell him under no circumstances can he say he would never drive drunk, never do anything like that. Basically, anything about the past equals sign, no. Direct is going well, gave him a beautiful, easy last question where he could explain the night, explain why he was upset he got arrested, because he wasn't drinking and was doing everything right. I would never do something like that. Dr. Open, Judge lets Da in rebuttal bring in old do-I. Jury took about 25 minutes to convict, and that's about one of 100 stories. Life is never dull in the criminal defense. NAL, but my uncle used to be a prison manager at the local prison in the area of NZ where I grew up. They had court hearings when the prisoners had done something against the rules, etc. They'd go before a couple of the prison workers and explain, kinda like an internal hearing, I guess. Uncle was the judge for a lot of these. One dude had been found with a cell phone, denied up and down that it was his, didn't know where it came from, blah blah blah. Uncle asked him several times if he wanted to own up. Guy absolutely insisted it wasn't his. Uncle, well, someone's wasted $100 on a phone then. Prisoner, fuck off, I paid $600 for that. Uncle, ha 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 ha, Mrs. Work Stories. I know this may be a stupid question, but why is a prisoner with a cell phone a big deal? They can use it to coordinate a drug, other illegal business outside without the prison knowing. They can use it to organize drug weapon smuggling into the prison, or it can be used to organize killings of people in the prison. It could be used to harass past victims or their families. The prison wants all calls to go through their phone system so they can keep track of what's going on. They make sure you're only calling people you're allowed to call and record the calls so they know if you're planning anything illegal with them. I'm not a lawyer, this isn't my story. But the lawyer who handled my business stuff and a legal dispute is a federal judge. Before he became a judge, he was a lawyer for divorces and civil stuff. A wealthy male client filed for divorce. There's a prenup. It's pretty ironclad. It discuses the distribution of wealth. The alimony, if any, is laid out at X amount, increasing yearly based on inflation. There is one major exception, and that is, if you are caught cheating, cheating here is defined by any sexual contact with a person before the divorce is final, you automatically get the worst terms of the prenup. In the woman's case, if she cheats, she gets zero alimony and a one-time payment of $100K. In the man's case, if he cheats, he loses the main family home, all cars that are not his daily driver, and 1/4 of his business. A buyout option is available, but doesn't matter to this story. Lawyer gets to court and meets with his client in a conference room, and client is beaming. He shakes the lawyer's hand and says, "Hey, Mike, I want you to meet Jasmine. I met her 2 months ago. She's amazing. We got engaged over the weekend in France." And Mike shook her hand and slumped in the chair and said, "So, we got a major problem. You are cheating on our wife with her. And legally, this is discovery I'm required to hand over to the other side." He's all, "How the fuck am I cheating? We're separated?" Mike is all, "Cheating is any sexual contact before divorce is final. It's an UR prenup that you wrote on your own." The guy flipped his shit. Ended up being so mad he ditched court, which gave him a default judgment, meaning she gets everything she asked for. Plus, because of the cheating plus not showing up, the judge ordered that the transfer of money happen within 30 days. As part of the initial agreement between both parties. He's not there to contest it. So blam. The guy ended up trying to sneak the company to the new woman via a trust. But it's an illegal move. He also tried to hide the money with her by giving her $1.1 million in cash, a bank transfer. But the judge stopped that once GE found out and required the woman to repay the money since she was given notice also. He fought for years and ended up losing money, time, energy, his business, house, 6, 7 cars, and his new wife. Now, 'cause I know his daughter from work, he's a retired angry man living in rural New Mexico. He can't afford to golf more than once a month, and he posts about how women are scum. Thank you for watching this video. I will be glad to receive your support in the form of a subscription to the channel and a like. Also write topics that interest you in the comments.